I just started counting in between shots and listening to see what direction he was heading in.
For Sarah Moonshadow, a normal trip to the grocery with her 21-year-old son,
"There's a shooter, active shooter, get away!"
turned into a terrifying day that will haunt her forever.
Once we got outside, I noticed that there were people laying in the street and they weren't moving. And my son grabbed me and said, "No, we can't do anything. They're out in the open." And so we ran.
Something just happened here, guys.
It's the moment Americans fear,
Did you see which way the shooter went?
and far too many have experienced.
Guys, we got people down inside King Supers. Holy shit.
10 are dead after carnage unfolded at the King Soopers grocery store in Boulder, Colorado. Denny Song, Nevin Stanisic, Ricky Olds, Trelona Barkoviak, Suzanne Fountain, Terry Leaker, Eric Talley, Kevin Mahoney, Lynn Murray, and Jody Waters. Tonight, their loved ones are united in grief. Just 1 week after another mass shooting in Atlanta, leaving many to wonder, what will it take to stop the bloodshed?
This is a tragedy and a nightmare for Boulder County.
It's a horrific event. We're heartbroken as a nation to see that we've returned to some of our old patterns of mass shooting.
For those who were at the scene, absolute shock.
Well, I could smell the gunpowder, so they were pretty close.
We were like sitting ducks. I'm still shivering. I'm still shaking with this.
The first shots cracked through the air around 2:30 Monday afternoon. The alleged gunman opened fire in the parking lot.
It looks like we have an active shooter.
Then he went inside.
Someone's down right here.
Dean Schiller came to shop for groceries. Instead, he found and filmed this.
Look, there's people lying in the street, guys. He went in the store.
Down there.
Oh my God. Guys, we got people down inside King Supers. Holy shit.
Police responded within minutes, quickly surrounding the building.
The entire building is surrounded. You need to surrender.
Officer Eric Talley was the first member of law enforcement on the scene.
Copy, I have an officer down inside the building.
And as police engaged in a shootout with the suspect, Officer Talley was gunned down.
His service and his sacrifice will never be forgotten.
Sarah Moonshadow tells my colleague Matt Gutman that she hasn't been able to stop thinking about the shooting.
Is there one image that you can't shake?
My son's face. Seeing my son scared like that, I told him, we only have 3 seconds. Like, we have to move now. I said, just don't look anywhere. Don't hesitate. Don't stand up and just run. Just run.
About an hour after the shooting started, police took the suspect into custody with a gunshot wound in the leg.
He was transported to the hospital for treatment, now in stable condition. This suspect has been identified as Ahmad Alyssa, 21 of Arvada.
The suspect's now charged with 10 counts of first-degree murder and is being held without bail. Among the lives lost, the first to respond, Boulder police officer Eric Talley.
Officer Eric Talley died heroically.
11 years on the force, a husband and father of 7, his grief-stricken mother Judy speaking to our affiliate KOAT.
He was so deeply loved by everyone.
When she heard there was a shooting in Boulder, she combed through the video looking for her son before the call finally came.
My son gave his life to save those people.
Another victim, 25-year-old Ricky Olds, a manager at the grocery store whose family described her as a firecracker.
She's a shining light. It's just so sad that it's put out.
Her family says they watched the live stream in horror, desperately trying to reach her.
I mean, we actually heard gunshots. You know, we're breaking down into tears and it hasn't even came on a news feed yet.
Denny Stong, another King Super employee, remembered by a classmate.
He was a free spirit and he just did what he loved and didn't really care what other people thought.
61-year-old Kevin Mahoney, who just last summer walked his daughter down the aisle. On Twitter, she revealed he was about to become a grandfather, tweeting, "I know he would want me to be strong for his granddaughter." All lives believed to be taken at the hand of one man. The alleged shooter, born in Syria, immigrated to the U.S. at 3 years old and is now a U.S. citizen. In 2017, he was charged with third-degree assault for intimidation and menacing related to an incident in a Denver suburb. And in 2018, he was charged with criminal mischief.
So if you look at mass shootings, particularly in this country, they're really driven by a person who feels disenfranchised, humiliated by those around them, and that they're mad, and they're going to externalize that anger onto the rest of us.
Police say the suspect bought an AR-556 pistol less than a week before the shooting. Family members telling investigators they saw him playing with what looked like a machine gun in their home. President Biden addressed a grieving nation for the second time in 1 week.
While the flag was still flying half-staff for the tragedy, another American city has been scarred by gun violence and the resulting trauma. And the state, that I even hate to say it because we're saying it so often, my heart goes out.
The city of Boulder has become the latest on a long list of Colorado communities whose names are now synonymous with mass shootings. There was Aurora, where 12 died at a movie theater. In Colorado Springs, where 3 were killed and 9 injured at a Planned Parenthood.
There's been a day of horror in Littleton, Colorado, just south of Denver.
And seared into our nation's collective memory, Littleton, where 12 students and 1 teacher were killed at Columbine High School in 1999.
Those are Daniel's shoes?
Yes, those are Daniel's shoes. Those are the shoes he was wearing that day.
And you still wear them more than 20 years later?
It's my connection with him. I feel that I'm walking in his shoes in this great debate about what to do about gun violence in America.
22 years ago, Tom Mauser lost his son there.
I think about Daniel often, but I really try not as much to think about what happened on that day, because it was just, just the worst thing that can ever happen to a parent.
This week's a tragic reminder of the son he lost.
It's especially painful, any mass shooting, more so when it's in my own state. But, this one was especially bad because I got a call from a friend whose daughter was in the store when it happened.
A fierce advocate for gun reform, Mauser helped pass legislation in Colorado closing a loophole that allowed the Columbine shooter to obtain a gun.
Billy, part of my frustration is that we really are only able to talk about this issue after mass shootings, large mass shootings, despite the fact that we lose so many people every day. But we don't deal with it because it's just too overwhelming, and then we end up not dealing with it at all.
The Boulder shooter's weapon of choice was a semi-automatic handgun, a similar assault-style weapon used in the Orlando nightclub shooting, Parkland, Las Vegas, Aurora, Sandy Hook, and countless others.
Once you have a terrorist use a certain type of weapon, like an AR-15, it kind of creates a cult-like attraction. You have a copycat effect.
But just last week, a judge blocked Boulder from enacting an assault weapons ban. The measure was put in place in 2018 following the Parkland school shooting. President Biden's now calling to reinstate the national assault weapons ban.
I don't need to wait another minute, let alone an hour, to take common sense steps that will save the lives in the future, and to urge my colleagues in the House and Senate to act.
In Atlanta, neither of the bills proposed by the House would have stopped the shooter.
I think in both situations, you had people buying firearms that, based on the current laws, could purchase firearms. And if you look at the history of people who commit mass shootings, a vast majority of them get their weapons legally.
Let me simply say this. This cannot be our new normal. We should be able to feel safe in our grocery stores. We have lost far too many lives.
What we hear so often, I never thought this would happen to me. So my message to everybody else is, don't wait for that day. This gun culture that we have in America that's led to this situation. Don't wait till then.
Here in Boulder, there's a fierce determination that those 10 lives lost will not be forgotten.
Throughout the day, people have been showing up to this memorial for Officer Talley. That's his patrol car, and you can see people leaving these flowers.
He ran in knowing that there was a shooting. He ran in going right after him, and, he sacrificed his life for America.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.